Have you ever wondered what the strange contraption is on Tracer's suit and how she can seemingly control time? Well, if you have, this video is for you, as we explore the history of Lena Oxton and how she became lost in time. Lena grew up in London and lived the life of a typical child. She loved music and partying a little too much. At the age of 17 she got her first motorcycle, but wanting to go faster she soon joined the RAF, Royal Air Force. It was there that she earned the call sign Tracer. Little did she know this decision would dramatically alter the course of her future. Given her aptitude for flying, Lena was the youngest ever pilot to be inducted into Overwatch's experimental flight program. She was handpicked to test pilot an experimental prototype of a teleporting fighter jet called the Slipstream. But during its maiden flight, the jet and Tracer seemingly disappeared for several weeks and was presumed dead. To everyone's surprise, Tracer reappeared months later, changed. She had been desynchronized from time, causing her to phase in and out of reality, sometimes days at a time. Overwatch's scientists were stumped for some time until Winston designed the chronal accelerator you see on Lena's chest. The device acts as an anchor, keeping Tracer in present, plus the nifty addition of allowing her to control the flow of time and recall her to a previous location. 7 years before present day, Tracer trained to become an Overwatch agent under the supervision of Winston and Dr. Ziegler, mercy to you and I. She sparred against some of the more experienced agents, including Genji, who stated Tracer was the only one I have trouble keeping up with. She was ultimately deemed fit for active duty not long before the King's Row uprising, where she ultimately convinced Jack Morrison to authorise a mission despite the Prime Minister's forbidding any action. This was a chance for Tracer to prove herself, and she did, as the team were able to defeat Null Sector and save Mandata, only for him to be assassinated sometime later by Widowmaker. Tracer went on to help in Storm Rising, where they were sent to extract Maximilian for information on Doomfist's whereabouts, as well as the subsequent mission in Singapore to defeat Doomfist, though he was able to crush Tracer's chronal accelerator and cause her to phase in and out of time once again. Fortunately, Winston became enraged and was able to defeat Doomfist in close combat, which is no mere feat. After Overwatch disbanded, Tracer rejoined the RAF, but it wasn't enough for her and she shortly quit. She spent the following years living a relatively normal life, once again listening to her music. It was when buying a new record that she was witness to the police pursuing a gang of Omnics. They had stolen a modulator required to keep the power in the underworld going, being unable to obtain one legally. Tracer befriended the Omnic called Lizzie, as they both expressed a love for music, and Lizzie took her to the underworld. But Case, a prominent leader figure in the underworld, didn't trust her, and eventually Tracer was fired upon and forced to leave and never return. Tracer ignored these threats and later brought the modulator to Lizzie, restoring some power to the underworld. This caught the attention of Mandata, who later asked for an audience with Tracer despite his hesitations. Tracer went on to help the Omnics where possible, though the police would continue to bear down on the Omnic community in London. Fast forward to present day and Winston's recall of Overwatch. Tracer was one of the first people to respond and made her way to Watchpoint to rejoin Winston, where she later met up with May. Here the team were the first to respond to the growing Null Sector presence in Paris, where she was joined by some of the older Overwatch team, including Reinhardt and Mercy. Given Tracer's tenacity and frankly being the poster girl for Blizzard's Overwatch, I suspect she will play a huge part in the upcoming events. If you have made it this far in the video, then you are within the top 3%, so please consider liking the video and subscribing to my channel to be notified when I upload more content.